Hi friends, Stephanie here, and I'm back with more movie chatter. And what I have for you today are some great horror comedy films. Now I'm a little picky when it comes to horror comedy because it can't be like over the top silly. It has to kind of make some sense, and it also has to have some decent horror elements in it for me to enjoy it. But what I tried to do is, I know we have our typical ones that we go to, Tucker and Dale, Shaun of the Dead, What We Do in the Shadows, things like that. So what I tried to do is I tried to pick out different films that maybe aren't talked about as much, maybe we've even missed them or they're newer. So this way I can show you some films that maybe you've missed and it'll be something new that you can add to your pile. But I think these are great films, and I have had a blast with each and every one of them. And I'm going to get going right with the first one, and this is a film by Alex de la Iglesia. He's a Spanish filmmaker. I've talked about him before with Last Circus, which is a much darker film, but excellent. And I also have a nice box set of his, which we are going to talk about at a later time. I want to do a spotlight on his films because I just think he's a fantastic filmmaker. This one in particular is called Witching and Bitching, and this is so much fun. This has a nice balance between comedy and horror. I would say it leans more towards the comedy, but it's not silly, it's appropriate. Starts out, we have a bunch of guys doing a bank heist. It should be pretty cut and dry. They're dressed in all these different costumes. The one guy's dressed as Jesus, and they go in and they pull off this heist, and things don't really go as planned. And the one guy actually has his, I think the kid's in 5th grade. It's his day to watch his 5th grade son. And so he takes him on this heist with him. So they're on the run, they're being chased, and they're trying to get to France. And what ends up happening is they end up in a town, and they're going to kind of hang out there until the coast is clear and move on. And what they don't know is that the town is all witches. It's filled with witches, and they are being held captive by these witches. And that's all I'm going to tell you. Just watch it. Have a good time. This one is a blast. Witching and Bitching. You can't go wrong with it. This one is in Spanish with English subtitles, but like I always say, don't worry about the subtitles. You will have a great time with this one. It's a really, really fun film. Now this one I just watched this version last night. I had seen it before, but I wanted to see what the 4K looks like. It looks amazing. And this is from Icon Films, but there is a Vinegar Syndrome version of this. So if you are not region free for the Blu-ray that's in this, you can always pick up the Vinegar Syndrome version. This one is called Severance. And basically what we have here is we have a group of 7 people who they work for this company. It's like a defense company. They make weapons and whatnot. And they're going off on this retreat to do team building exercises. And, you know, nobody wants to do that. Who wants to go on a work retreat? But off they go. They have rented a bus. Their boss has rented a bus. And they're going on the bus. And the one guy is just downing mushrooms. He wants to be wasted the whole time. And they come across this tree that's fallen and blocked the road. And the boss says, listen, the map shows we could take this other road and we can get there. And the bus driver's like, no way, I'm not going. The bus driver refuses. He dumps them on the side of the road, and now they're on foot. And they're trying to walk to this lodge that they have rented for the weekend to do their team building exercises. Long story short, and without any spoilers, once they get to the lodge, things start to feel very wrong, and they start to feel like they might be being watched, they might be being hunted, there might be people out in the woods that are watching them. They're not really sure what's going on, but all I can say is this gets wild. And this one, I would say it has a really even mix of comedy, really cool horror, and action. It's a very balanced film. It's not just all silly comedy. It's really, really cool film. So if you haven't seen Severance, I would highly recommend this one, especially if you don't like your horror comedy over the top. It's just kind of sprinkled in there to kind of give you a moment to breathe, because there's a lot of tension involved in this one. But Severance is a winner, and I really, really enjoyed this one. And the 4K, stunning. It's a beautiful transfer. So check out Severance. Now these two are for the gore hounds, but it's a lot of fun. It's funny, and there's 2 of them. The first one is Dead Snow, and then the follow-up is Dead Snow 2. It is Red versus Dead. But what we have is we have a bunch of, in the first one, we have a bunch of medical students and they want to do a getaway. So they go for like this ski weekend and they're, you know, renting a place and they're up on this ski weekend. And what ends up happening is they find this box of treasures basically that belong to these, they had belonged to these Nazis. And long story short, the Nazis show up and they're zombies and the killing begins. But what I can say about this is it's very funny, it's a lot of fun, but you have to have the stomach for it because these two films are super, super gory. I'm talking body parts flying, innards being torn out. You have to have the stomach for it, but these are a lot of fun, very funny, very cool, very good zombie films. And dare I say, the second one is better than the first one. The first one was really good, but I really, really liked the Dead Snow 2, Red vs. Dead. I liked that even more, but I thought these were a lot of fun. But like I said, you have to have the stomach for it because it's just carnage everywhere, and there's not much else I have to say for it. If you just like comedy and blood, you're gonna love these, so definitely check them. And this next one I've talked about before, but it's been a while, so I don't know how many of you were here for that because it's been a bit. But this one is a Japanese film, and it is called I'm a Hero. And basically we have this fella here. He's kind of a nerdy guy. He's an artist for a manga magazine, and he draws for all these graphic novels. And he also has these wishes in his head. Like he wishes he could be these heroes that he's actually drawing in these graphic novels. And what ends up happening is, as luck would have it, we have a zombie apocalypse that's going on, and he has to become the hero that he's always wanted to be, and he has to take care of his co-workers and these gals that he's working with to try to get everyone to safety and, you know, and alive. But this is a really cool movie. Again, it's another zombie movie, but that was a common theme. It's been a common theme for a while, but this is a lot of fun. And this one, like I said, is in Japanese with English subtitles, but I think this one is a blast. And it's just such a fun ride. And it has, again, this is another one that has a nice balance of comedy and horror, and it's a lot of fun. And I haven't met anybody yet who watched it who didn't like it, so it's a lot of fun. So check out I'm a Hero. It's a good one. And this next one, I've spoken about this one too, but it's been a while, and I know a lot of people, when it came out, people were watching it. I don't know how much now, but this stars Ryan Reynolds, and it's a very, very different kind of a role for him, and it's called The Voices. And right on the front it says weird and funny. And basically, he plays a guy by the name of Jerry. And Jerry works for a plumbing supply company, and he's kind of strange, he's kind of standoffish. But Jerry also has some problems. He hears voices, and he lives with his cat and his dog, and he talks to them, and he thinks they're answering him. He's going to therapy. His therapist is trying to get him to stay compliant, stay on his medications, because when he doesn't take his medications, he's really living in a different universe. And what ends up happening is he really has a crush on one of the girls who works in the accounting department, and the girls are really interested in Jerry, and he tries to go out on these dates with them, and things may or may not go well. But all I can say is Jerry is constantly in a struggle between reality and the voices that are going on in his head, and he has a really hard time deciphering what's real and what isn't. And there are times in this when you really feel bad for him because you learn his backstory, but I would say this has an excellent balance of like the serial killer, horror, comedy, and like I said, and like those heartfelt moments where you actually feel bad for him because you see why he is the way he is. But I think The Voices is a really, really cool movie and a really different role for Ryan Reynolds, and he just knocks it out of the park. He's fantastic in this role, and I wish he would do more things like this because he's really, really good at it. So if you haven't seen The Voices, definitely check it out. It's a winner. And here we go. This is just, it's the sequel we did, or the remake that we didn't even know we needed, and it's great. I had so much fun with this. It stars Peter Dinklage, Jacob Tremblay, Kevin Bacon, Elijah Wood, Julia Davis. It is The Toxic Avenger. And I know most of you, if not all of you, already know about the original Troma film, Toxic Avenger, good old Toxie. And he was a janitor who was horribly disfigured. and we have a remake here, and I had so much fun with this. It was so much better than I expected it to be. I think I even like this one more than the original Toxic Avenger. And in this one, Peter Dinklage plays Toxie, which makes it even better. I love Peter Dinklage. He's so good. And he's fantastic as Toxie, and just follow him along on his adventures. So if you're a Toxic Avenger fan, definitely check out the remake, even if you only stream it. But this is the Steelbook. It comes with a really cool slipcover with embossing and whatnot. And then of course we have good old Toxie there on the front and on the back. But I picked this one up on Orbit, but they also have a really cool lenticular slipcover version. So this is the 4K and Blu-ray, and they also have the same thing if you're not a Steelbook person and you want to get the slip variant. They do have that, and they're both readily available on Orbit right now. So if you want to see the remake of the Toxic Avenger, go for it. Okay, and this next one is a really fun infected film starring Elijah Wood and Rainn Wilson, and it is called Cooties. And basically what we have is an elementary school, and you know, they're all the teachers, and the kids come down with this virus, and what it does is it turns them into like these feral, crazy kids who are attacking and trying to eat the teachers. And what they find out is that the only way you can contract the virus is if you haven't gone through puberty. So that's why these elementary school kids are just turning wild. And this is so much fun. Yes, it's a silly concept. It's a silly movie, but I had so much fun with this. I love Rainn Wilson, and him and Elijah Wood just knock it out of the park with this one. But the teachers have to fight to survive against all these little kids who are trying to kill them because of this virus that they've picked up, and they suspect the chicken nuggets, but we can't be sure. So if you want to have a really good time, just check out Cooties. Sit back and laugh. It's a lot of fun. So that's a fun one. And this one I've talked about before, but again, it's been a while, and this is an Irish vampire movie with comedy in it, and it is called The Boys from County Hell. And basically what we have is this construction crew that's been hired to do a job, and like I said, it is in Ireland, and what they are told is there's this pile of rocks on the property, and they are told whatever you do, do not disturb the pile of rocks because you don't want what's in there, because what's in there is an Irish vampire. So they're joking around, they're going to the local pubs, they're being warned, they're being told, stay away from everything. What do? They bulldoze the pile of rocks and all hell breaks loose. All I can say is this is a lot of fun. It's a very different take on the vampire genre, and it has a really cool mix of, again, the horror and the comedy. It's really, really good, very well balanced. I had a blast with this. Now, if you look these films up, most of them, they're not going to score that high. Most horror films don't, unless they're, like, we're talking Sinners or Weapons, something like a big budget Hollywood film. But like these types of films, they're not going to score that high, but they are just so much fun. Just take a chance on them. Even if you go over, this is on Shudder. Even if you take a chance, go over to Shudder and stream it. But definitely watch Boys from County Hell and some other ones from this pile because they're a lot of fun. So this is a good one. It's one I go back to again and again. And this one is, this was put out by Arrow, and it is called A Zombie for Sale. And basically what we have is, we have this, I guess like a pharmaceutical company, and they were doing testing on these new medications. And what ended up happening is something went wrong, and it turned the test subject into zombies. Well, one of them escapes, and he's walking around, and he comes upon this gas station that's owned by this family. And what the family decides to do is they decide to keep him because he's kind of mellow and he kind of just does his own thing. He's not really attacking anybody. But they decide to take him in and use him kind of like as a sideshow attraction to get business into their gas station. And they want to invite people to be able to meet the zombie. And then they start upping the ante with things. And I don't want to get into it for people who haven't seen it, but of course nothing is ever going to go as planned. But when things start to, when they take it a little too far, things start to go horribly wrong. But this is a really, really good time. And I know it's another zombie film, but there's a lot of them out there, but this is a really, really good one. And this one is, I believe it's in, this is in Korean with English subtitles. So this is a good one. Zombie for Sale. Definitely check that one out. And then this last one stars the late, great Anton Yelchin, who is, I am such a fan of his. And this is a really fun one. It's called Odd Thomas. And in this one, he plays a short order cook who he also has these like psychic powers or these premonitions where he can see the dead coming. He sees these entities coming, and when he notices them, he knows that something's going to happen. He knows someone's going to die or something horrible is going to happen. And what happens is he's working as a short order cook in town. He's taking orders, and he starts to notice that there is an overabundance of these entities. Normally he'll just see one or two at a time, but he's seeing a slew of them coming in, and he is concerned that there is going to be a mass catastrophic event that's going to happen in the town, and he is working really hard to stop it. He's working with law enforcement, and he's trying to prevent whatever this event is that's going to happen. But it's really, really good. Anton Yelchin steals the show. There's a lot of comedy. There's a lot of horror. There's a lot of cool special effects. It's really well done. This is a very, very fun film and a very good film. Very well done. And like I said, Anton Yelchin just steals the show. I think Willem Dafoe, if I'm not mistaken, yeah, he's the local sheriff. And he was working with, Willem Dafoe was working with Odd Thomas to try to rectify the problem or cut it off before something really horrible happens. But if you haven't seen Odd Thomas, put it on your list. Check it out. Have a good time. And rest in peace, Anton Yelchin, because we certainly miss you. So that's it. Those are my horror comedy picks that maybe you missed. I'm hoping that I picked a few that you haven't seen or you haven't heard of, and you'll be able to watch them and enjoy them. I hope you enjoyed this. I enjoyed doing it for you. I want to thank everyone for watching. You know I appreciate each and every one of you. And I'm going to be back real soon. I know I missed a couple days this week. There was construction around my house. Way too loud to do a video, but anyway, I'm going to be back over the weekend, and also Sunday is the Pickle Prize drawing, so keep your eye on the community post for that. But I want to thank everyone for watching. You know I appreciate each and every one of you, and I'm going to be back real soon. So for now, that's a wrap.